So last week I dropped a video about trading inside of an IRA to become a tax-free millionaire. After I dropped that video, I actually got a few questions about what do you actually invest in, how do you read these charts, and what does a lot of this stuff mean? So today I want to answer a few of those questions. So today on Money News Management, I'm going to address a few of those concerns to help you get the ball rolling when it comes to trading stocks. When it comes to trading stocks, there's actually a lot of things that you might want to consider, like when the right time to start is. How do you even make money trading stocks? What stocks do you even buy? What is a dividend? And really, there's a lot of other things to consider when trading stocks, but today we're going to keep it very basic to get the ball rolling so you can get yourself involved trading stocks as soon as possible to make as much money as early as possible. First things first, what is a stock? And simply put, a stock is just a share of a company that's owned by an individual or a group of individuals. Meaning if you own a stock in a certain company, you now are a shareholder of that company. There are a few types of stocks, but today we're going to focus on two very basic kinds, and those are just growth stocks and dividend stocks. Now, to define both of those, a growth stock is simply a stock that focuses on the capital gain and the growth of the stock. While on the other hand, a dividend stock isn't necessarily about the capital gain, but just a stock that you hold to gain dividends. Rashad, yes, what that? Well, simply put, a dividend is a payout that a company will pay their shareholders or people who own individual stocks of that company every so often for owning that stock. These payouts usually occur quarterly, but some happen semi-annually or annually. For most companies, you'll receive a quarterly payout or a quarterly dividend, which means you'll get paid 4 times a year for owning that stock. For example, Disney's most recent EPS was $1.07. So if you own 10 shares of Disney at that time, you would have gained $10.70. And since this is paid out quarterly or 4 times a year, that means you'd get $10.70 per quarter or $42.80 a year. And I understand that that's not a lot at all, but you take into consideration that's $42 a year that you have to do absolutely nothing but just hold on to the stocks that you already have. And when it comes to investing in dividend stocks, you get a dividend per share for each stock that you own, no matter what company, as long as that company pays out dividends. And when you take into consideration how large your portfolio will grow over the course of the time that you're investing, eventually you'll start making $400 to $500 a year just on dividends. And that doesn't include the actual gains of those stocks. But considering that you're a dividend investor, you're not really worried about the capital gains, but those stocks will most likely grow. Well, I figure by now you're probably wondering, how do you determine which stocks pay a dividend? Well, all you have to do is find a stock that you're interested in buying and then read the details. There are a lot of things inside of these details, but what you're looking for is something that reads dividend/yield. Sometimes it will read DIV, which is just a shortened form of dividend. And once you find that section, all you have to do is check to make sure there's a number next to it. And if there is a number, usually in the form of a decimal, that stock pays a dividend. And if there is no number, that stock doesn't pay a dividend. But Rashad, that don't make no sense. What doesn't make sense? So you telling me that number tells me how much I'm gonna get paid? Well, not exactly, because there's no 100% way to determine how much you'll be getting paid in dividends per stock, because those numbers actually change every so often based on how the company feels they're doing and how much money they'd like to give their shareholders. But if you did want to try to calculate this, there's a very simple formula. All you would have to do is take that decimal next to the dividend yield and move the decimal point 2 spaces to the left, take that number, multiply it by the cost of the stock, and then divide that number by 4. The number that you're left with there is an estimated amount of how much you'll be getting paid on the next quarterly payout. Once again, this is not 100% because that decimal is liable to change. Rashad, yes. What the does that even mean? Huh? All right, you know what? Let me give you an example. Apple's dividend is 1.37, and currently their stock is trading about $260 per share. If we move the decimal 2 places to the left, that means we're left with 0.0137. And if we take that and multiply it by 260, which would give you 3.56. Once you divide that by 4, you end up with 0.89, which means you'd be getting paid about 89 cents per quarter. And that's really all it takes when it comes to dividend investments. Paying attention to how much you'd be getting paid per quarter when it comes to dividend payouts. Honestly, if you want to be a dividend investor but don't want to do that math yourself, there are numerous ways around that. One being just Google a list of the highest paying dividend stocks, which honestly would make your job so much easier. Now, the other method that I said that we talk about is growth investing. Now, what this really means is basically you're focused on the growth of that company and that stock. With growth investing, that doesn't mean you don't have to pay attention to stocks with dividends. It just means you're focused on the capital gain of those stocks, because a lot of stocks pay dividends. So your focus just isn't on the dividends that you'll make per year just from holding the stocks. It's the amount that that stock will grow, the amount that the company will grow from you holding that stock for long periods of time. And with this strategy, your main focus is trying to buy as low as possible to gain the maximum amount of profit. And in reality, that should always be your focus. But with growth investing, that's your only focus, for the simple fact that all you're worried about is capital gains. And in reality, you want to focus more on aggressive growth companies than you do on dividends or just companies that are coastal that have slow, consistent growth. For example, Disney recently just dropped their streaming service on November 12th. And since then, their stocks have skyrocketed about $12 to $15 since November 9th. So if you were a growth investor, knowing that Disney was getting ready to drop their streaming service, you would have done your research and you would have invested into them a few months ago when their stocks was trading for about $119 to $120. Which means if you would have bought their stocks at $120 and now they're sitting at $140, you would have gained about $20 per share in your investment account. And with all that, Disney stocks are still growing and getting closer and closer to breaking their 52-week high. And for a growth investor, obviously buying in at the lowest point possible before all of this happened would have been excellent. For a dividend investor, they could still buy Disney because their focus is just on the slow, constant growth and the amount that Disney would pay out per dividend, considering that their stocks are now becoming higher and higher. They get more in dividends during the next payout. Okay, so I understand not everybody believes in streaming services and everybody's just hooked on Netflix because it has all their favorite shows and movies, and that's fine. So what we'll do is go to a more broad example for something that everyone can understand. And for this example, we will use Apple. I understand not everybody has an iPhone or use Apple products, but everyone understands the company. So recently, Apple dropped their iPhone 11. They also dropped new AirPods and their very own streaming service. Now, whether or not you knew about any of this happening, you understand that when a company drops a bunch of new things, their values tends to grow even if it's for a short amount of time. So if you were a growth investor, knowing that Apple was dropping all of these things, you would have invested into them before their iPhone 11 even dropped. Because around that time, their stocks were trading for about $215 to $220. And after they dropped their iPhone 11 and then their AirPods and recently their streaming service, their stocks have been breaking their 52 weeks high for about 3 weeks now, and it's now trading around $260, which means you would have gained $40 per share just from investing into Apple before the iPhone 11 dropped last month. And I understand that that's a lot to take into. Yeah, you in the back.
How will I know when it's time to actually buy a stock?
All right, well, actually, the right time to buy a stock is immediately. In all reality, you'll oftentimes hear people say the right time to start investing is right now, today. Oh yeah, you gotta do it, whoop-de-woo. And it's true. Because when it comes to investing into anything, the best time to start is today. Because when it comes to the stock market, there will always be times where the stocks are growing and growing and growing. Now, granted, you may have missed the most recent growth, but by that logic, you've missed a lot of recent growth because the last stock market crash was in 2007. And since then, since 2008, the stock market has been in a complete and total bull run. And what that means is all that's happened is the stock market has seen nothing but profitable years. And that's why when it comes to investing, it's not about making a quick buck. It's all about long-term investment. And when I say long-term investment, I mean 5, 10, 20 years down the line, because the amount of money that you will see fluctuate throughout that time will average out to be so much more in the long haul. Starting to invest now will help you prepare in case there's ever another 2008 stock market crash. One of the most common phrases that's passed around in the investment world is that millionaires are built during recessions. And what that means is when times are hard, people who understand how to manage their money do so much better. Because in the stock market, when the stock market crashes, all that means is stocks are going on sale. And for you and I, and for people out there who love sales, we understand what that means. those Black Friday sales and those after Christmas sales, take that and multiply it by 10. And that's what happens when the stock market crashes. You can literally buy so many shares of a stock at the lowest points that they will be. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, because if you're buying stocks when the stock market is crashing, how does that benefit you in the long haul? Well, once again, we're going to use the 2008 stock market crash as our example. And we're going to use a couple stocks that I'm sure a lot of people know about. And first, we're going to start with Amazon. So in 2008, during that stock market crash, Amazon was trading for about $69 per share. And today they're trading well over $1,000 per share, or even that big Bitcoin boom. In 2010, Bitcoin was trading for 8 cents per share. And today, their stock is worth $10,000 per share. And this stock is completely volatile. I'll never tell anyone to buy Bitcoin, but just take this as an example. Imagine buying 80 cents worth of Bitcoin, which means you have 10 shares, and holding on to it till today where it's worth $10,000. That means you have $100,000 worth of stock on 80 cents. Millionaires are built in a recession. And when it comes to what stocks should you choose when you're ready to invest into stocks, it's completely up to you. Because the richest investor in history, Warren Buffett, states, do not invest in anything you do not understand. Now, I get it, there's a lot to be involved, but find a company that you feel comfortable in. Apple, different streaming services, a clothing brand, something that you know yourself, and do your research. See how they're performing. Look at their stock charts, watch it for a week or two, and go from there. Never let anyone convince you that trading stocks is a get rich quick, because it's not. It takes time for these things to grow. If you'd like to start watching stocks and charts and graphs and trying to understand it a little bit on your own, I will drop a link to a mobile app that I use, which is completely free. The app is called Robinhood. And when you sign up, you get a free stock. I would suggest that you don't sell this stock for the simple reason that if you're not going to put money in to actually start investing into stocks, this will be the only stock that you could actually watch your charts fall and rise. And if you have any questions at all about stocks, or just simply want me to explain the Robinhood app to you personally, I have no problem with that. Just simply message me on any social media platform. I'll drop my Twitter and my Instagram in the links below in case you don't already have them. And with all that being said, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because there is tons of content on its way about investment, financial literacy, and just numerous ways that'll help you manage your money.